Hello my friends and welcome back. It's Friday, the end of the week. Thank God, finally. I've been waiting for it and I'm tired as hell, believe it. When this day is over, I'm gonna have a cold brewski with my bros in the bar. But you know, Zelensky also has a reason to have a very cold brewski, ice cold, because the Trump's Ukrainian mineral deal was finally signed. And you might think it's only a mineral deal. It's not. It's a security guarantee without a security guarantee, because it is pretty much a United States guaranteed investment into Ukraine, and they will get a lot of profit from it for the next, not 10, not 20, probably like 50 years. Because up to 2034, so that's the next 10 years, all of the profits from the minerals will be reinvested into Ukraine. So United States will start making money after 10 years. So it's a very, very good deal in my eyes. But let's go through it. What it actually is. What is Ukraine winning? What is United States winning? In my eyes, it is the best draft we have seen up to this point about the mineral deal, because there have been some horrible colonial era drafts about it. For example, the White House meeting that was the fiasco. That draft was absolutely horrible. This one, a different story. They signed the deal on 30th of April. That's the big date. And I'm gonna raise a glass today for that date. By the way, alcohol free. Some of you are saying, "Oh, Artur, I'm concerned. Did you start drinking again?" I'll try to stay away from it. What's in the deal? Aid. Crucially, the deal does not call for Kyiv to reimburse the United States for the aid it has already received. So the 500 billion Trump claimed that Ukraine owes them, it's not, never has been true, but Trump doesn't also force that anymore. There is no debt. The aid is considered as aid, which it was. It was military aid. Natural resources. The deal gives the United States preferential rights to mineral extinction in Ukraine and states that Kyiv will have the final say in what and where is being mined. Ukraine will also retain the ownership of the subsoil. So Ukraine owns all of the minerals and they decide what to mine and where to mine, but the United States will get 50% of the profits after 10 years. Really good for the US in the future and really good for Ukraine. The toll. In a win for Ukraine, the deal also adopts a strong language on the war with Russia itself. It points at Moscow as the aggressor in the conflict, diverging from some of Trump's previous false statements about Ukraine and Zelensky being responsible for the war. Trump is full of surprises. He was always very anti-Zelensky, and now he comes out with a deal which is very anti-Russia. That's a very wow-wow-wee-wow. It's a very nice deal, if I can say so. I am surprised. The whole world is surprised, and I gotta give it to Trump. This deal earned my respect to him, just for a moment at least. EU guarantees. It also keeps the door open for Ukraine's potential future membership in the European Union, saying that the investment needs to be made in accordance with Ukraine's obligations as an EU candidate state. It adds that if Ukraine was to join the bloc in the future, the deal would be renegotiated in good faith. So Ukraine will be a European Union member in the future. I think this will certainly happen, and this deal is not in the way. Again, is the better outcome than I would have imagined, even I would have dreamt of. It's very well done. And finally, the boost for the United States. The terms of the agreements also show that the US has secured a host of advantages for itself. What are the advantages? Well, Ukraine is very rich in minerals, in metals. They have a lot of stuff underground. Lithium, titanium, uranium, aluminium. They also have a lot of natural gas and even some oil. US will have access to the profits from extracting these minerals, at least 50% of them after 10 years. And US will have access to these minerals itself. For example, lithium, very necessary. 90% of the refined lithium is controlled by China in the world. Not raw lithium, refined lithium. This can be changed with the investments into Ukraine and with this new deal between Ukraine and the United States. I'm very happy about it. I'm stoked, as you can see. It was a far better outcome than I would have even dreamed of. For you, just a comparison on the screen. I'm not going to read it, but there's a comparison of the very first draft, which was pretty much a colonial era draft of acquiring a new colony. And this final signed version is a 50-50 equal terms partnership. It's pretty much an investment agreement that benefits both sides greatly. US has a massive interest, a massive stake at the game now to protect Ukraine. With the US-Ukrainian Reconstruction Fund signed, it is going to be interesting to see what happens near the embattled resource sites. The first test is going to be the lithium deposit in Shevchenko, Donetsk region, in Ukraine. Russian troops have been trying to reach that area for months, but aside from minor movements, they have been stuck a few kilometers from it. Shevchenko is a few clicks from the front line. It has massive lithium deposits, massive. And United States wants and needs that lithium. Russians are a few clicks away from it. There's any kind of interest now for Trump to protect at least this lithium deposit, because they will get that lithium if the Russians don't get there first. So United States, weapons are starting to flow. I'm happy about it. Check it out. This is insane. This is a change of tone from Trump administration like that. Trump administration notifies Congress of proposal to sell Ukraine 50 million or more of defense articles. Wow, my friends. Where does this come from? The guy was very anti-Ukraine, very anti-Zelensky, and now suddenly he's like, okay, let's sell them weapons then. This marks the first such move under the current US government. And of course, Ukraine wants to buy air defense missiles first of all. That's the very first thing they need. And now Trump has interest to sell them, because when Ukraine can defend themselves in their areas, United States can get their lithium, their aluminium, their uranium if they would want any. And you know what? Maybe, just maybe, the United States Trump administration is starting to understand that Russia does not want peace, it cannot have peace, because Russian economy is built upon this war. They're fully a war economy now. They cannot just go back into peacetime, because then all the problems that are in the Russian economy and Russian society, they will have to start dealing with them, and it's impossible. They will pretty much collapse. War is keeping them afloat, keeping the economy afloat, keeping the people from ignoring how bad the life is in Russia, keeping the soldiers at the front. If these guys start coming back to the civilian society by the hundreds of thousands, they're gonna get drunk and drugged, and they're gonna start shooting people. I mean, that's a very primitive sentence, but that's how it is in Russia. Men come back from the front. We saw it in Afghanistan. We saw it after Second World War. Bad things are going to happen in the streets of the cities. They cannot have peace. And here is J.D. Vance pretty much saying that the war will last for a long, long time. It will not end anytime soon. So maybe they're starting to see it in the United States how it actually is. And this is what Trump said. I want to watch the clip. I like it.
I would tell Zelensky, no more. You got to make a deal. I would tell Putin, if you don't make a deal, we're going to give him a lot. We're going to give more than they ever got if we have to.
Says to Putin, if you don't make a deal, we're going to give Zelensky a lot. We're going to give them more than we ever have. And under Biden administration, Ukraine got about $60 to $70 billion worth of military aid. And Trump said, we're going to give them more than they ever had. So this is a very direct and dangerous threat to Putin, that you better make peace. Well, Putin cannot make peace because their economy will collapse. So he's in a very, very bad situation. And then POTUS comes out with a communication that US will no longer mediate peace talks between Ukraine and Russia, said by the State Department. I'm glad. Trump always did more damage than good by mediating this, because he took a very pro-Russian stance, and now suddenly he signed this very pro-Ukrainian mineral deal and said that the US will no longer mediate peace talks. I don't know. Trump changes his tone like that. But right now, these communications are very, very good for Ukraine and very, very bad for Russia. Maybe they're finally waking up in the Trump administration, because it is Russia also who is always saying that this quick peace can never happen. I mean, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said it just yesterday, that quick peace is not possible. They have said it all the time. So I don't know why Trump sometimes thought that they can make a quick peace when even Russians are saying it's impossible and even Ukrainians are saying it's impossible. They cannot do it. The only way for quick peace in Ukraine, well, the quickest way is to send weapons to Ukraine, massive amount of weapons, and they will do the job. They will demilitarize the Russian army for us. It's really good. It's a very good investment. All right, my friends, that's it for the mineral deal. I have a lot of strike videos for you today because Crimea was flooded with SBU drones. We have plenty of footage about it. We're gonna watch it. But before, I gotta butcher some monthly members of Buy Me a Coffee. First of all, we got Kaitseliidu Ida-malevkonna pioneerirühm. This means Defense League East malevkonna, I don't know, pioneer platoon. And these are the guys. You send me a photo and buy me a coffee. Shout out to this Estonian unit in the east. You're doing God's work, my friends, digging these trenches, digging these defensive barriers. If you're watching this from a barracks, well done, my friends. Then we have Raimond and Noelle Straub. Oh, you thought that was it? No, we have 4 more names. Will Tarbis Hire, James Kufner, Jochen Josep Kross Kolmas, Doble Aron. All of these people, thank you so much for signing up for Buy Me a Coffee. You really do make a difference. Okay, now we get to the juicy videos. These careless smoking videos. SBU released a beautiful compilation of videos with beautiful songs that I cannot really play because they will be copyrighted. But let's watch the videos. Almost after every 2 weeks, ever since February, SBU has struck Crimea. You know why? Because Russians, for some reason, don't learn. They're bringing new air defense units to Crimea. They get destroyed. They bring new. Maybe that's the reason why the Kursk bridge is not destroyed, because if you destroy that, Russians cannot bring new equipment. It's a kill zone for SBU drones, and they want to keep it that way. It's a kill box, and Russians keep bringing their S-300s and stuff to the kill box. Let's watch the video. Wow, destroyed. Okay, we see a radar system, first of all, RLS ST-68 radar system, taking it out. We can see the destroyed radar in this one, flying to the next target, taking it out, searching yet another one, S-300, the last one was S-300. Now we can see beautiful wild horses in Crimea. So nice, such a beautiful clip. I love to see it. RLS 9C32 Imbir hugging the target, bada bim, bada boom, careless smoking going on. And finally we have the S-300B and hugging the target. So this happened in one day, and it happens almost every 2 weeks in the last 3 months. And Russians keep bringing in new radar systems, new air defense launchers. They're very expensive and they cannot protect Crimea. I mean, if you bring in capabilities of anti-air and then these capabilities will be taken out by aerial targets, that's a little bit funny. But the SBU is not only striking Crimea, they also struck Murom instrument making plant, which produces ignition and initiation systems for Russian military ammunition. It caught fire and it happened on April 30th, and there's plenty of videos about it. Now this plant is sanctioned by the West and by the EU, everything. It's a very important plant for the Russian military industrial complex, and some Russian troops smoked extremely carelessly on this plant, and we also have a CCTV footage. Wow, a lightning happening. This wasn't a lightning strike, it was an SBU lightning strike into the Murom plant. I'm done with the strike videos, but now I gotta show you something very peculiar. You know, in war, quantity is quality of its own. You say, oh, make quality, not quantity, but if you have big enough of quantity, it becomes a quality of its own in the military. In this case, I want to introduce you to hoverboard land-based kamikaze drones. Check it out. These are civilian hoverboards put upside down, and on top of that you get the Russian anti-tank drone, and they are controlling that remotely and ramming these into Ukrainian positions. Now the price of a hoverboard like that, you order it from China, could be 500 euros, maybe $300, right? Two of them together, 600-700, maybe 1,000. You put the mine on top and you get a ground-based, remotely controlled kamikaze drone for $1,000. Now this is a very cheap and very scalable way to produce these land-based drones, and I gotta give it to the Russians in this instance. It is a good idea. It's a cheap idea and it's a mass-producible idea. Now I want to introduce you to two separate videos of Putin's minced meat. You like minced meat? I also do. A lot of protein in it. Check it out. This is another kind of these convoy attack style charges. We got an ATV with two Russian troops on it. We got a Bukhanka vehicle with a whole damn squad on it. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Moscow boys. And inside also plenty of them. So that's like a whole squad of minced meat. A lot of protein, man. And then we got motorcycles also. They are designed to eat up Ukrainian ammunition, nothing more. They are wasting Ukrainian kamikaze drone, they're wasting cluster munitions. That's what they're designed for. Their goal in life is to soak up shrapnel with their bodies. Then they are happy. That's their point of existence. And we can see it in this video. Another one of minced meat boys, minced meat battalion. We have a lot of right here, 2 of them in the back, 2 of them in the front, I think, and sitting in the inside in the back also. Well, I'm surprised because these engines are usually 0.9, maybe 1 liter engines. And how the hell can they carry this many Moscow boys? I don't know. Well, that's a lot of protein in a Lada. The most amount of protein I've seen in a Lada. But we got a lot of protein here also. Look at that. Fish food going to the front. Now, my friends, we jump to Ukraine, and one of the biggest and most famous Ukrainian activist, Sternenko, there was an assassination attempt on him, of course guided by Moscow, and we can see it on this video actually. Here is Sternenko exiting the building. This woman opens fire on Sternenko, and Sternenko's bodyguard SBU detains the woman and saves his life. So SBU guys, they're top notch. We have given like hundreds of drones to them with your aid. They know what they're doing. They do it very well. They also secure Zelensky, by the way, wherever he goes. In this case, they saved Sternenko's life. And the woman was detained, and there's a photo also. Here's the gun, here's the woman later after the failed assassination attempt. Now Sternenko has fundraised close to 200,000 kamikaze drones for Ukrainian units. Over 550 different units have gotten equipment from him. He's funneled tens of millions of dollars, if not more, close to 100 perhaps, to Ukrainian military. He is a legend, and that's why Moscow wants to take him out. Well, they failed in this video. Sternenko got hit, by the way, but he survived. He's in the hospital. He's going to recover. SBU saved his life. Now, my friends, we jump to Kursk, because here we have North Korean boys. Let's see what they're doing. They are making a bonfire, and here is a Russian commander coming up to them saying, "What's up? It'll be a storm. We will be effed up." And they're warming their minced meat packages right next to the bonfire. You might ask, is this the very same minced meat that the Putin boys were turned into on the front and then packaged into these bags? And I'm here to answer no, this is not the very same minced meat, but good question. No campfire. Ukraine, bang bang. This is how you explain to the North Korean boys in Kursk that it will be bad if you make a bonfire because Ukraine, bang bang. I will understand what he means. Campfire. And the guy is laughing, the North Korean is laughing, like, what are you talking about? Ukraine, bang bang, I need my meat warm, okay? I want my minced meat warmed up. Do you not understand? No, the roof provides warmth. This is what the commander says. What, чего? You need to wrap this up. Cigarette. Okay, they're gonna exchange cigarettes. Well, if the North Korean boys also want to warm their minced meat on the campfire, they will be turned into minced meat because of it. If they want to do it, you gotta let them do it. My friends, let me introduce you to Ukrainian army point system. They do actually have a point system. Killing a Russian soldier gives you 6 points. Damaging an enemy tank gives you 20 points. This is official. This is how it works. You can buy weapons and drones and everything thanks to these points. To motivate soldiers at the front and making sure the most efficient units are well supplied, Ukraine has introduced a new point system called Army of Drones. Ukrainian soldiers can now collect points on the battlefield and get better equipment for those points. And you might think, oh, this is barbaric, but it's not. Because it's a self-balancing system that gives the most, best, newest, expensivest equipment to the best units. This is what you want in your army. You want the most effective units, get the best equipment, because they do the most of destroying the Russian army. The points can be used to buy different types of military equipment on a special website described as Amazon for military equipment. The website has all types of weapons, drones and AI systems. A so-called vampire drone or Baba Yaga, we also gave them to the SPU guys with your help. That costs 43 points. The website also publishes a top list of which units have collected the most points, and so far about 90% of units have registered points. The elite drone unit Magyar Bird, you've all heard about them, is on the top table with more than 16,000 points, and that gets you a lot. You're like a millionaire in military terms. You can get any drone you want, any equipment you want. I think it's a very good system. This way, if a unit is performing very badly, there's no point in giving them very good and expensive equipment. If they're performing very well, they will get the best equipment. I love the system. Now we jump to Moscow because there on the streets, the Chinese are already rehearsing. Check it out. They're already rehearsing their marching tactics. 9th of May is coming up. We got some leaders from the European Union going also, which is a shame. But China will be present and you can see them doing that here on the screen. Yeah. I'm expecting some very careless smoking on 9th of May in Moscow. Budanov was asked, what are you going to do about 9th of May in Moscow? And Budanov replied very well that Moscow citizens will need earplugs on 9th of May. That's all he said. I respect those words. Now I got to report on something shameful because, before and after 9th of May, all over Europe and everything, Russians want to celebrate their cult of death. That's what they have. And this is Vienna, center of Europe, Vienna. Russian singers performed in the center of Vienna for honor of Victory Day. This should be banned. Austria, what the hell is going on? This is not okay. This is Russians celebrating aggression and killing Ukrainian children. It's not okay. Should be banned. Shame on the government who allowed this to happen. And also continuing on the same topic, once again in many European cities in early May there will be pro-Russian Immortal Regiment marches. Immortal Regiment marches are like, part of that death cult of 9th of May the Russians have. They may also be called St. George Ribbon or Minute of Silence or Poems and Songs for Victory. All of that should be banned now. It's the 3rd year of war. 3rd time 9th of May happens. We have tolerated that in Europe, but it's pretty much the same that in 1942 they would allow Germans in England at the same time, for example, Blitz is happening. They would allow them to march for Hitler. It's outrageous, and it's happening in Europe. So shame on all the government who are allowing this 9th of May celebrations to happen in European soil. Ban them right now. Have some balls. And to open up, I mean, we here in Estonia, we know how Putin thinks because we just do. We are living with the neighbor, but some of the Westerners maybe don't understand it so well. So here is Putin explaining himself. It just came out, explaining himself in black and white how he thinks. I quote, "Sooner or later, Russia's relations with Europe will be restored. Many share our position but are afraid to speak openly." Ever since Putin became the leader of Russia in 2000, I think it was 99 actually, it was 2008 Russo-Georgian War. After that, relations were restored very fast. It was 2014 Russian occupation of Crimea and Donbass. After that, relations were restored very fast. And now Putin's ultimate gamble, full-scale invasion. We have not restored the relations and we are not stepping on the same landmine for the third time. There can be no restoration of relations with Russians. Russia needs to be broken apart into smaller countries and their imperial colonial system needs to be demolished. That's what I'm talking about. So Mr. Putin with his delusions, he will learn the reality soon enough. Alright my friends, thank you for watching. Thank you for coming back time and time again. And if you're a channel member, YouTube channel member, which is only 99 cents per month, you will get an extra video tomorrow. And that's only for members. So 4 times a month, every Saturday, YouTube members will get extra videos. So if you want to do that, sign up for membership. Until my next video, my friends, which will be tomorrow or on Monday, Slava Ukraini. And bye-bye.